Greetings! What is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is shining and the magpie is casting, because going outside is for jocks and weirdos. Haha, lol. But seriously, coming to you guys right now with a live 1 versus 1 battle featuring spawning in the north. It is going to be the Overcommand West forces of Captain Vernon Roche. And spawning in the south, it is going to be the Soviet forces of Snowbear, Kanji. I actually think I recognize this kanji. Is that Denki? It's really small and hard to see, but I think that might be electricity. Oh, no, wait. No, it's probably snow, and that is probably bear. That would make a lot more sense, wouldn't it? Anyway, the map here is going to be Arnhem Checkpoint, which is kind of nice, actually. I feel like I haven't cast a game on this map for some time. This game was, of course, just the top-ranked game on the live game lobby, and I don't recognize either of these players, so it's going to be exciting to see what they're going to bring to the table. And as they move out onto the map and begin their initial skirmishes, you can see here we've got some Storm Pioneers and some Engineers here getting stuck on in. I'll just take a second right here to talk about some stuff not related to the game unfolding in front of us. And let's see, so yeah, I've been just like super busy recently. As you might have noticed, there's like not been like a ton of uploads on the channel or anything. But it's all good busy. Some of you may or may not know, I actually play Magic the Gathering, the card game. And I've been playing quite a lot of that, going to some tournaments around the place, and kind of enjoying that quite a lot recently, so that has been like eating into my time. But we got some really good RTS going on at the moment, what with Dawn of War 3 being out, and what with Company of Heroes 2 basically being in the best state I think it's ever been. Like, the game is so good to play now compared to like how it's always been like throughout its lifetime. It is definitely, like, the version of Company of Heroes 2 that we have today is like without a doubt the best version, I think. I think that's like totally fair to say. And like, congrats to Relic for like getting the game to this state. I mean, it took them a while. It did take them a while, but I think the game's just really cool now. And Dawn of War 3, well, that is undoubtedly a cool game, but totally like infused with bugs. There's just all kinds of craziness going on pretty much all the time, so that is quite hard to cast. It's also quite it's also quite a fast RTS, and I think it's probably fair to say that nobody really knows what like the meta is. Or how that game kind of like is supposed to look. So like casting that game at the moment kind of a little bit daunting, and I have no idea if the games that I've cast of it are any good. So I've only uploaded one so far because that was the only replay I found that actually felt like any kind of decent. But anyway, yeah, hopefully some more Dawn of War 3 coming soon. So okay, let's turn our attention to this game. Looks like Snowbear here going hard in on conscripts, up to 4 squads thereof. No, okay, so Molotovs. Wow, okay, he's actually going in on mollies. So this is a pretty atypical build, as far as I know. Anyway, not seen quad conscript molly opening for some time. So we'll have to see if he's going to be able to leverage any value against that. Looks like Vernon Roche going for a pretty typical OKW opener here. Up to 3 squads of Volks. Got the Storm Pioneers, of course. We've got a Kubel on support. These conscripts actually turbo low. They're going to have to fall back across open ground here. The Kubelwagen's still taking shots. That's actually light cover and not open ground, so those conscripts are going to escape. Oof, that was pretty damn close. I got to say, I'm kind of super surprised at the molly opening here and not vehicle grenades. But anyway, I think I would have saved for vehicle grenades, because this Kubelwagen is going to be super annoying. Anyway, well, okay, here we go. So the Molotov, double Molotov, going to surprise the OKW player, but Captain Vernon Roche here looks to be on form, going to micro both of those squads pretty much out of the danger zone. So I think safe to say that those mollies did not actually pay for themselves. So probably a gamble here by Snowbear, and probably safe to say it hasn't paid off yet. Though, of course, he will have those Molotovs for the rest of the game, so maybe we'll see some more value come out of that upgrade as time goes on. Looks like Snowbear at the moment doing a reasonable job of controlling the field. I'll tell you what, let's crack the tack here and we can take an overview on the situation. So Snowbear at the moment does control his own muni, his own fuel. Vernon Roche likewise. I think it's safe to say Snowbear just slightly ahead if we look at the resource differential here. Plus 21, plus 20. Munitions and fuel respectively for the OKW player. We got 37 and 23 for the Soviet player, so opening up a little bit of a resource gap here is Snowbear. Scoreline pretty much near as makes no difference even. I mean, we're only 4.5 minutes in, so as to be expected, I suppose. This Kubelwagen actually getting turbo low. Vernon Roche not microing this one back, and that's going to be a dead Kubelwagen, and I think that's that was pretty much just a mistake. Just possibly he was microing another squad somewhere else on the map, and that is going to cost him his Kubelwagen there for Vernon Roche. Bit of a shame. Probably a needless loss there, but these things happen. Looks like the Schwervermacht Schlepper is now out on the map, and we're going to see a tech choice here out of the OKW player, and he is going to go for Battle Gripper HQ. That makes sense because he's putting it there. Kind of got like mixed exchanges going on across the map, notably a squad of Volks here. Going to poke on through and try and grab the muni point off of Snowbear here, so nice work by Vernon Roche, tying up the Soviet player here in mid. Let's just check the Soviet tech. Is there no tech for the Soviet player? It appears that there is genuinely no tech, which makes me super curious about what he's planning. He's going up to more conscripts? A 6th squad? My goodness. Okay, this is like taking me way back. This is taking me way back. To like when the game was pretty fresh out and people were opening like 4 or 5 squads of conscripts routinely and going for mollies. But I mean, we live in a different day and age now. The Maxim machine gun, most notably, was changed like a lot in the last patch. So that's like a completely different unit, more or less now. So I guess Soviet players probably pretty pissed off about those changes because probably safe to say that the new Maxim, I mean, it's still a super useful unit. It just doesn't have the like explosive power that it used to, really. But I mean, that was Relic's stated aim for the changes to that unit. But anyway, so no support weapon Campania, but interestingly, no special rifle company command either. Which I don't know. I'm kind of used to seeing. I think penals are really strong at the moment. I don't know if they're really strong, but I certainly like them at the moment. Scout snipers typically pretty good against OKW. I mean, you have to imagine if you had a scout sniper squad. I mean, like, that would be doing pretty well against this roster from Captain Vernon Roche that we see in the top left. Anyway, both players have actually gone ahead and chosen their commanders as Snowbear pushing up right the way across the map. He's actually just got like what 6, 7 active units, just kind of like doing stuff on the map versus the OKW player with just 4. And if you look at the map here and I crack the tack, you can see vast swathes of this map now basically red, and the OKW player actually with only a single resource point connected. This one right here. So it's going to be hard times for Vernon Roche as we move on into the sort of late early game here. Looks like we got some Fallschirmjäger's going to be deployed out of this building here. Molotov's going to come on in. Vernon Roche better be paying attention. Ah, the Molotov does connect. Those Fallschirmjägers are burning for a little longer than they needed to. So probably some decent damage off of that Molotov. Going to rack up a good amount of veterancy onto those conscripts. The presence of Fallschirmjägers, of course, means that Vernon Roche has chosen the Luftwaffe ground support doctrine. Ground Forces Doctrine, sorry, my bad. So that's going to be his commander for the match. And it looks like Snowbear going to go with the lesser spotted, what's this, conscript something tactics? Conscript support tactics. So that's like all the upgrades for your conscripts. And I guess that makes sense when you look at his build here. I mean, he has 6 squads of conscripts. So he's going to have PPSHs, they're going to be able to repair, they're going to be able to hit the dirt. And he's going to have, what, rapid conscription, that's actually a pretty useful one, and incendiary artillery barrage. Interesting, actually. This is one of those commanders that's been in the game since release, and if you guys can cast your mind back way back, it was actually like OP AF when the game was released, because Hit the Dirt was basically kind of broken, like it was just really strong. But since they fixed that, and this was like years ago, this commander really like has fallen into the shadows, and I kind of almost forgot he was in the game. But now that veterancy on infantry has been fixed, and now that like the way conscripts work, I mean they're just more durable generally speaking now. Maybe this commander has some legs? We're going to have to see. I mean, I'm skeptical. I will be honest. I'm skeptical. But Snowbear, buddy. Maybe Snowbear can get it done. Another Molotov going to come into this building. Vernon Roche right on top of it. Molotov coming into this building. Vernon Roche also on top of that. He needs to get a fallback maybe onto these Volks. Actually, no, they're just going to stand their ground. Volks with STG is going to come into support. And actually, Vernon Roche doing a pretty good job of marshalling this fight. Breaks these 2 squads of conscripts on the left flank. Going to take back mid here. Also has a squad of Volks Grenadiers going to be taking the right-hand VP over here. So breaking out onto the map is really nice. I'd love it if he could grab his cut-off point. That way he could actually get some value out of this fuel point, which actually, to be honest, Engineer's about to cap. So Vernon Roche desperately in need of some more field presence. Has actually enough money for another squad of Fallschirmjägers, and I wouldn't hate just popping them out of this building. That would force these Engineers away, may even kill the Engineers. They're so low. And that would enable him to have a squad to go and grab this cut-off point, like, immediately. So that would be a sweet move, though I imagine his attention right now probably on microing this battle in mid. Fallschirmjäger's just like doing well as Fallschirmjägers do here. There's not a lot. I mean, to be honest, if your opponent, I don't know that Captain Vernon Roche knows about the commander pick yet for his opponent. He hasn't seen PPSHs, and I don't think he's seen any conscripts go to ground yet or eat the dirt. Oh, that's a demo charge. We're just going to keep the camera here for a second because these guys could die at any second. They deserve to die. They've been there so long. It's all on Snowbear now to pay attention to this. But anyway, to go back to my point, I don't think that Vernon Roche knows that Snowbear has gone all in on conscripts. Yeah, okay, now he sees the PPSHs, so it's quite likely. But the Fallschirmjägers are actually just quite a nice counter to this. Are these Volks really going to get away with this? I feel like as soon as I move the camera away, they're all going to explode and turn into showers of gib. So I don't want to move the camera. Give them some orders, please! Okay, I think they're actually going to get away with this. Okay. Wow, that was sketchy AF, but those Volks have survived. A little bit of a lapse of awareness there from Snowbear, who for sure I think could have picked up a squad wipe if he'd have detonated that charge, but gonna get away with it for now. World's luckiest Volks here. But there's no metal... Oh, no, sorry, I take it back. There is a metal detector on the roster here for Vernon Roche, so there is a chance that he may see that demo charge at some point and be able to clear it without incident. So let's see now. We've got combat going on over here in the far east here, as Conscript's going to be pushing back Volks Grenadiers. Extended combat going on in mid. I'd kind of love for Vernon Roche to get an MG34 on the field. I think that would be a really nice choice. He could get it in this building or this building and start controlling large swathes of the map as well. If he had it in this building, it would also cover his cutoff, which has been like consistently cut off by Snowbear. Credit where credit's due. Snowbear being like super good at being active and cutting off that cutoff. If he could get a demo charge down onto it as well, that, yeah, demo charge, that would be super sweet as well. Fallschirmjäger's here going to fall back in mid, hopelessly outnumbered. Conscript's just everywhere, pouring out of the gunnels here. And we've got a tech choice. Looks like a support weapon Capitan has recently finished here for Snowbear. So he's going to have access to weapon teams, probably most importantly for him, the Zis gun, because there's almost certainly going to be some armored choices coming out for the Overcommand player sooner rather than late. Actually, I say that, but maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, he has no other tech choices yet. Oh, dearie me. And Vernon Roche, let me just crack the tack here. We can elucidate on this situation. Vernon Roche, basically all units, except for like Fallschirmjägers and this random Rakettenwerfer, forced back into the base. The map, mostly red, although 2 VPs blue, so that's pretty important for the German player here. Oh no, these Fallschirmjägers need to get out of here! This is a killing field! They're going to use Frangie Smoke and try and reposition. That's never going to happen. And there we go. Frangie Smoke actually probably doing some good damage here. That's pretty cool. Very rarely do you see Frangie Smoke actually be useful. In fact, just very rarely do you even see Frangie Smoke, because it's only on like the super elite units and it's only with veterancy. But anyway, nice to see and well used there by Vernon Roche, who's actually flatlining on munitions. That was the last of his munitions that he used to throw that. How much does the Frangie Smoke cost? Here it is. 30, okay. And it looks like for now, the red tide has been broken. A lot of conscript squads now falling back. A lot of conscript squads going to need reinforcing and healing here at the base. So there's a window of time here where Captain Vernon Roche can move out onto the map and get some work done. And that he is doing. Fallschirmjäger's up in the building. I'd still love him to get an MG34. That would just be sweet. I feel like that just counters like all this stuff. Looks like the Soviet player going to be going for the PM81 mortar. And so I guess that makes the MG34 a little less attractive now. But I still think it would be value. And it's a cheap enough unit. Anyway, Vernon Roche going to go for his second Vermac Schlepper. That unit now coming on out to the map. So you have to imagine we're going to see... He just doesn't really have the fuel to make a Schwerpanzer HQ look very good right now. Unless he wants Obersoldaten. But I mean, he kind of has access to Fallschirmjägers. And those two units overlap so much. I just don't think he's getting any value. So maybe this is for a mechanized command. He's heading it out onto the field, which makes me think it is probably going to be the Schwerpanzer HQ. And he's like lining up Schwerpanzer HQ fuel here. Finally gets himself some resources here, plus 42, plus 26, munitions and fuel respectively. So Vernon Roche going to have some money to work with here, as he looks to secure more areas of the map. Again, going to be using this. He's definitely going for Schwerpanzer HQ. This is going to be deployed into the Flak HQ, like around about here. I quite like this actually, because it does cover his cutoff, covers his fuel, nearly will probably cover the VP. Okay, no, he's backing up. It probably won't cover the VP, but still, like the positioning there. That does seem pretty cool. The scoreline now as we move into the mid-game, 3-9-2 for Vernon Roche and 4-1-2 for Snowbear. So about a 20-ticket lead for the Russian player right now. So this game actually pretty even, despite the resource differential, which has definitely been in the Soviet favor. Looks like he's going to tech rapidly up, has Tangovy Battalion Command, has Mechanized Armor Campanaya. So I'm guessing the choice here either going to be a T-34 or a Katyusha. I'd love to see the Tushi. That would actually be a sweet choice, actually. That would make life hell for the Axis player here. But it could be a T-34, and that's not going to be a bad choice either. With conscript repairs, you can get a lot of value out of the Soviet medium there. So I wouldn't mind that choice at all. The Soviet mortar beginning to make itself felt now. One kill on that and some shells raining in. So Vernon Roche will be aware of that unit. These engineers going to desperately kite back, and this time the demo charge for sure. Oh, these Volks Grenadiers are kind of spread, actually, so I don't think it'll be a squad wipe. Snowbear here being so patient with that demo charge, desperately trying to get the Volks to cluster around into the blast radius there. I'm going to look away, but you just know that I'm going to miss the blast on this thing. And it looks like some Fallschirmjäger here going to force back the mortar here. So Vernon Roche going to buy himself some mortar-free time here to barricade up in mid. Also spreading out a couple of units here out into the eastern flank. Gonna look to grab some ground. Looks like T-34 is going to be the tech of choice here for Snowbear, so he's going to have the medium. Not a lot of anti-tank resources here for Vernon Roche. He has a Rakettenwerfer, and he does have Faust, so he can put together a kill on this tank, but it's going to be tough, and with good micro from the Soviet player, I think this T-34 should still be pretty valuable. PPSHs on all these units of conscripts. That's pretty spicy. I like that. It's just been a long time since I've seen 6 PPSH icons. Like, that's just... I like it. It puts a smile on my face. Alright, so here comes the T-34, immediately going to push back this squad of Fallschirmjägers. Actually could even pursue here for damage. Rakettenwerfer is in a good position though. Biff, and there comes the first hit. He's probably going to get a second one. Fallschirmjäger's going to pop out here and going to go for the Faust. The Faust is going to be good. That's going to connect. That's the broken engine on this T-34. The Rakettenwerfer just needs to reposition. We could have a kill on the Soviet medium, desperately limping away. He could go for the garrison in the building here with the Kettenwerfer. Gets another hit onto the rear armor. That tank now on pixels of health. The Kettenwerfer is forced back by a mass conscript wave here. And this is why I just think like an MG34 squad here in mid would have just been devastating. I mean, it just would have denied so much maneuverability and locked down a lot of the map here. But anyway, so the T-34 gets away. That is not how you want your opening engagement with a no-star veterancy tank, like any tank, to go. So nicely deflected by Vernon Roche. Would have been even nicer, of course, if he could have picked up the kill there. I feel like this game, like that would have been a turning moment. As it is, I still think that the edge is like slightly with the Soviet player. Double molly? Really? I mean, that seems like overkill. Plus, you don't want to run your own conscripts into the molly. You've got to be careful with that. And I can hear the Flak HQ doing some thumping. So, okay, so Snowbear knows now about the Schwerpanzer HQ. So he may bring the mortar over to this flank and start pressuring it down. It's not super bad. He may reach for a Zis gun. That's another nice answer for the Schwerpanzer HQ. It looks like he's going to go for another T-34, and I don't mind that. T-34s have synergy with other T-34s, so I don't mind that choice at all. Looks like some Fallschirmjägers here, just going to be trying to do some work. Got some Volksgrenadiers here in support in mid. These two players, actually, this has been a nice, pretty even game. I mean, it feels like Snowbear has been on top for most of it, but somehow Vernon Roche manages to have, like, the VP ticket lead, and he has a few other things going for him here. If he can hold on till, like... I actually think, like, a Panzer IV may not be the worst choice. If he can hold on for a Panther, I think he is good. But I don't even think a Panzer IV is a bad choice here. And it depends, like if he feels like he needs the Panzer IV, I guess he'll go for it. But I don't know, he seems to be doing quite a good job. Added in another Rakettenwerfer, of course. So 2 Rakettenwerfers now on the field. And with all these with all these Volks and Fallschirmjägers, I mean, that is a lot of Fausts. These T-34s have to be pretty careful. Conscripts getting mowed down here. Volksgrenadiers getting mowed down here. A lot of action going on here in mid. And again, I just think like an MG34 would have just made these engagements so much easier for Captain Vernon Roche here. So it's something I would quite like to see. Anyway, second T-34 going to roll on in here, going to make itself announced. If Vernon Roche clicked on that, he'll know that this is the second one. The first one at the moment still being repaired, being slow repaired by Soviet engineers over here. Which is slightly bizarre considering that all his conscripts have repairs and could have repaired it like in an instant whilst they were reinforcing. I don't know. I feel like that would have been a faster repair. Anyway, is that... Oh man, Valiant Assault gets used. Wow, okay, so Stim comes down basically on across the entire Axis infantry roster. Oh, this Rakettenwerfer, turbo awkward. Okay, it does have the T-34 in arc, but I'm not sure about this arc. It's a little... I mean, this church is like just right in the middle of his arc here. Oh no, he has to fall back. He has to fall back the Rakettenwerfer. He does get the fallback. Conscripts with PPSHs are really good and they're pretty fast. The T-34 here going to come in for the pursuit. The Rakettenwerfer taking a really awkward retreat, and that should be a dead weapon team. You've got to feel that. There we go. So one of the Rakettenwerfers does get chalked off. Looks like no response immediately. I would quite like to see him just maybe cancel these Storm Pioneers and go for a second squad of Rakettenwerfer here, just because I feel like with one Rakettenwerfer the Soviet player can just bully you down and woe betide you if he manages to get to a third T-34, which we're not exactly miles away from. Looks like Captain Vernon Roche probably is trying to save for the Panther, so okay, no, Panzer. As soon as I say that, the Panzer IV comes onto the queue. Alright, fine. So okay, Panzer IV going to be the answer here. Definitely, I think the riskier line of play, although he may feel like he's just being overrun, and he's not super far off with that assessment. With one Rakettenwerfer, I think the choice was either you rebuild the second Rakettenwerfer and go for the Panther, or you don't rebuild the second Rakettenwerfer and you go for the Panzer IV. I think that that was kind of the choice for Vernon Roche here. And then you get the second Rakettenwerfer after your Storm Pioneers. And I feel like that's where he needs to go. Like, I think if he doesn't get another Rakettenwerfer, he's just going to lose, because he has to know that a third T-34 is not far away here. I mean, he has to know what's going on here. This is mass conscripts with mass repair, with mass PPSHs, and then the T-34s are like the KO blow, like the Soviet sledgehammer, because they can be repaired by all these units, because they're really good against all these targets up in the top left. And just because, you know, they're pretty good cost-effective medium tanks here. Okay, so now we've got one Panzer IV, and this is risky. This Panzer IV has to be microed super defensively, because if it gets rammed, if it gets hit by an AT grenade, this game probably ends. So all the hopes right now of the German player Captain Vernon Roche pretty much resting on this Panzer IV, which is going to commit straight into the front of these two T-34s. Risky. He's kind of target firing the vet one. Okay, I don't mind that target fire. 2 penetrating hits off the bat is a lovely start for this Panzer IV, looking to accumulate some veterancy. Also, his superior armor just deflecting the T-34 rounds, getting turbo lucky. He's overextending though. That's going to be an AT grenade. Biff, luckily for him, he's on full health. That Panzer IV armor getting some super lucky rolls there on the T-34 hits. If any of those T-34 hits would have come through for damage, that engine would have been broken, and that Panzer IV would have been in a slightly risky position. Anyway, looks like for now, though, the T-34s are being managed back. Tons of action going on. This is like a great game of Company of Heroes 2. This is like super action-packed. This is what I signed up for when I said, hey, let's cast a game. Wow. So, okay, the Panzer IV is now repaired. Going to come on back out, just looking for damage at the moment. Just going to put the pressure on. He's just fearless. He's coming on out into so many conscripts. You've got to be careful with this. This is your game right now. If you lose the Panzer IV, you just die, I think. So be careful right now, Vernon Roche. Does he have the Pintle Mount MG42? He doesn't even have the munitions for that. So veterancy, not going to be super fast gaining veterancy when firing on infantry squads with this unit at the moment. Scoreline at the moment, 328 for the OKW player, 356 for the Soviet player, so still a close game in terms of the objectives here. Looks like some shoe mines going to be coming down. That's where his munitions are going to go. I don't know, I think I like saving for the Pintle Mount MG, but I mean, shoe mines are good as well, so I guess we'll have to see on that one. Soviet tanks probably about to be repaired. They're all sitting around in the base. Here we go. Engineers coming out. The conscripts also see. This is it. See, now you can repair while you get reinforced. And this is just going to repair this unit so fast. So that's going to be pretty sweet. And an uneasy silence here as both players just taking a moment to lick their wounds. The Soviet player reinforcing and repairing his tanks. The Axis player, most of his units actually out on the field and pushing. If I crack the tack, you can see a lot of points at the moment being taken by the Axis player. Actually, sorry, I take that back. This is a Soviet squad that's capturing his own munitions point. But anyway, looks like a Shrek upgrade has also finished on the second unit of Panzer, of Storm Pioneers. So I really like that. I think that plus the Rakettenwerfer, plus the Panzer IV, plus the Fausts, that gives you, like, that is acceptable, although I still don't think optimal against 3 T-34s. Now I think the next choice for Snow Bear is probably going to be an Su-85, and I think the Su-85, with the screen of Soviet mediums, the T-34s screening the Su-85, that's going to be a tricky proposition. This Panzer IV is just immune to T-34s, though. I don't think I've seen a single T-34 hit connect for damage against this medium tank, getting very lucky as Vernon Roche. But as I was saying, he's going for another T-34. I don't like this. Because the difference between 3 and 4 T-34s is kind of like... I mean, there is a difference, but it's not... It doesn't add any different dimension. It doesn't diversify your force. It doesn't force the Axis player to have to respect your units in any particularly different way. Like, 3 and 4 T-34s, basically, just both is like a good old lot of T-34. But 3 T-34s with an Su-85 behind them, taking snipe shots at the Panzer IV, is a far more prickly proposition, and one which the Panzer IV just like can't really engage into nearly so well. And that frees up your T-34s to push and counter your opponent's infantry, you know, much easier. So I think when you've got 3 T-34s going for an Su-85, that's more of a force multiplier than like an additional unit when you have the synergy between the T-34s and the Su-85. So in my opinion, I would have liked to have seen an Su-85. Hell, I think even a Katusha would have been a sweet choice. Just something to diversify his forces. Because Captain Vernon Roche has known, like, T-34s are the threat right now, and Vernon Roche has been playing with that in mind now for, like, maybe 10 minutes or so, you know, quite a long time. So I'm not sure about the 4th T-34. That said, who knows, it may just represent, like, the final bit of insurmountable force. I mean, this is a lot of T-34, to be fair, like, a lot. This Panzer IV has to be so careful. Oh my goodness, what is he doing with the Panzer IV? It is facing the wrong way. He knows these T-34s are here. He needs to rotate. He needs to back up. He does. The Kettenwerfer is in position here. Gonna take some shots. Faust should come down off of these Volks. The Muni's not there, actually, just. Okay, so the Muni's there now. But see, okay, the Panzer IV just gets enveloped in T-34. He should have got this thing out of there ages ago. What was he thinking? So he's going to lose the T-34. Incendiary comes down onto the Raketwerfer. The Panzer IV goes up just there. And I think all 4 of these should escape. The MG34 has even been added to the roster. There we go. I guess better late than never, but this is so late it might as well be never. That was the successful snipe there from the Soviet player. Captain Vernon Roche loses his most valuable unit and loses a lot of his hope in this game, you have to feel. I mean, he can afford another Panzer IV. I feel like you have to save the Panther here, because another Panzer IV is just not going to hack it. This is a lot. This is a lot of T-34 here. He just had, he's spamming Raketwerfers, which I think is the correct choice. The T-34 is getting super aggro here, coming in to try and get the weapon team. Going to take a Faust to the nose here. Whoosh, bing, go. And Vernon Roche actually with enough munitions for now to keep Fausting. 2 of the Soviets' mediums do have broken engines, and they're all at like half or less health pretty much. So I think this has to become a fallback just for now with the T-34s, because they need to repair this Raketwerfer. Oh, it's just not going to get set up in time to get that rocket off, which is unfortunate. A Faust's going to bing this one though. Oh, now that one's got a damaged engine and is in the arc of this Raketwerfer. Why is the Raketwerfer not firing? Oh no, is his line of sight like being obliterated by this tree? That's unfortunate. I feel like some attack ground rounds there could have gone a long way. But not going to happen. Not going to happen. A 5th T-34? Okay, well, this is Snowbear's plan. This is what he does apparently. Diversity of units is for noobs. Conscripts and T-34s is all you need. It is the only way. Only way. So, I mean, he's definitely saving for Panther here as Vernon Roche, which I like a lot. He just needs the manpower. What is it, 490 manpower I think he needs? Yeah, 490 manpower, yeah. So I think the Panther has to be the right choice here. Normally, I'd say a Jagdpanzer IV would be pretty sweet, but against 5 T-34s, there's just no way. You need like the speed and maneuverability of a Panther, because although the Jagdpanzer will kill these things faster, it'll just get surrounded and killed, unless you're like super epic with your like positioning on the Raketwerfers and the micro on the Jagdpanzer. So, as we move into pretty much the late game here. This has been a pretty good game of Company of Heroes 2 so far. Very, very evenly balanced, a little bit of back and forth. And I thought that the Axis player was kind of a lot further behind than it appears like he actually is. I mean, he's only behind by like 39 VPs, and or 49 is that? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. 45 now. And to be honest, like, he's still alive. These Soviet mediums are getting repaired, and once they are repaired, then he has to deal with the storm of T-34 again. Okay, the Panther comes down into the queue, but it won't be ready in time for this next attack. So he has to survive for the next, like, 2 minutes or so, during which time there is definitely going to be a Penta T-34 strike. The lesser spotted tactic here from Snowbear. And if he comes through that okay, then the Panther will be useful. There is a chance that the Panther is going to come onto the field, like, in the middle of the fight, in which case it may be able to tip the odds here. 5-star Volksgrenadiers getting hoomed down a little bit here. They are turbo weak. I think they're probably going to get away with it. T-34s. That Volksgrenadier on a pixel, but he does get out of there okay. Another T-34 out on the left flank here. I hope Vernon Roche is paying attention, or else he will lose his 3-star storm planners when that building comes down. T-34 is just going to sledge through here from right to left, just decimating everything in their path. No Fausts coming down here off easy. Okay, here comes a Faust at last. Whoosh, bing, and that's actually not even going to break the engine there. Oh no, Raketwerfer gets taken out, so there comes the first squad loss. These Volksgrenadiers, 4-star and so low. This is so much firepower. I feel like you have to pull these guys back. I feel like you have to get them out of there. Panther tank is now arriving and is heading to the front, so if you can position that like back here where it can take some shots, maybe it'll be okay. Although the fight may have just like moved to a different location by then. Here comes the Panther. Prioritized vehicles is on, so hopefully, bing, biff, and a lovely opening hit for that Panther. If he can get that to 2-star vet, he may even just win. Oh, he's so aggressive! What? Why? What is this unsupported Panther doing? It's unsupported. There are conscripts all over you. Jesus. Oh my, Captain Roche here, playing it so risky with the Panther. You just want to sit it back, man. Sit it on back. He's going to come forward and try and get the KO blow on this T-34, and he may be able to find it. So risky! Okay, he gets that. Here comes an AT grenade. Biff. Damages the engine. Only like 60% health remaining on that Panther, but the Soviet mediums are all pretty beat up, actually. Where are they? They're back here. All pretty beat up at the moment, so I guess Snow Bear doesn't want to take a dive and try and get the Panther. And 2 squads of Storm Pioneers are going to repair that Panther pretty quickly, so I guess Vernon Roche actually may have stabilized here. It's too early to say for sure, but he has got a Panther out, and he has managed to get that Panther to pick off a T-34 and survive its first engagement. If he can do that once or twice more, he's probably ahead. And his resources are not terrible, you know. He's had a fuel point, he's had a munitions point this whole time, so if he can get a Jagdpanzer up behind this Panther, or even just another Panther, which is a lot more expensive, but if he can do that, he'll be in a really good position, I think. It all just comes down. My only worry is that Captain Vernon Roche has demonstrated that he is reckless AF with his armor. Like, I would be so much more defensive with the Panzer IV and so much more defensive with the Panther than he has been. So if he overexposes this no-star vet Panther and gets it picked off, and that is so easy to do against 5 T-34s and a ton of conscripts with AT grenades, you know, that is not a hard thing to do. Oh god, look at him go! He's just coming out. He has no idea what's out here. There could be mines. There just could be anything. There could be, like, you know, a concave of T-34s with conscripts hiding behind the building for a quick grenade, and you know, this is so far forward for this thing to be, in my opinion. But anyway, that scoreline actually opening up quite a lot. Vernon Roche not in command of any of the VPs right now, so finds himself down at 195 under 335. Amazing how fast things can change. It feels like just a minute or two ago I was saying that there was just 45 tickets between the two of them. But does manage to decap 2 of the points, so he's under a single cap right now, is Vernon Roche. Panther here just harvesting veterancy off of the units in front of it. And that's kind of exactly what he wants to be doing with it. But I mean, the Soviet player is grabbing mid, the Soviet player is grabbing east, and he has west. So this is going to be dangerous times. Oh, it looks like that demo charge did go off. I think Volk's Grenadiers have been gibbed to that. Now he has to be so careful. Having the Panther even just exposed shooting with like an amount of health that means that the next AT grenade will break its engine is dangerous here for Vernon Roche, because I think if he loses that Panther, he probably loses the game. Mind you, I felt that way about the Panzer IV, and here we are. So he's down on 170 now. He has to get some infantry onto these points. He has to do it. How many kills on this? 11 kills, 3 stars of vet so far on the mortar. So that unit's been a sixth T-34. You don't think maybe an Su-85 Snow Bear? No. Has he even heard? Does he know that there's a button in this building? If you click on this building, there are 3 unit choices. I mean, I get that he's tunnel visioned onto conscripts and T-34s, but I think when you're on 5 T-34s, the value of a 6th one is like, it's not that there's no value, it's just, it's sort of, it's not, I just think that there's not as much value in a T-34 as there is in an Su-85 or a Katusha. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, Panther going to come forwards here again, like turbo risky. Going to take another AT grenade. Probably going to get instantly repaired. There are Storm Pioneers nearby, but he's been more reckless than I'd like with this Panther. Looks like all 5 of these T-34s going to head across to the western flank. It looks like Snow Bear at the moment super content to just bully his opponent back off the VPs. And at the current rate of bleed, I would say that Vernon Roche has a little over 2 minutes left. He needs to grab a VP, or else he is going to get clocked on out of this game. Despite having like a reasonable force and a Panther in good health, all of that means nothing if you can't hold on to the VPs, and he is not doing that right now. Jesus, this is a lot of T-34. Holy spoons. That's just a lot of T-34. Also, how is this building staying up? Let's just take a minute here to observe the architectural majesty that is this building. That is special. Oh, I do like that. Okay, so here comes the blow here. 100 points remaining for Captain Vernon Roche. Looks like the T-34's all going to try and swarm down the Panther, but he's kiting well. Rakettenwerfers are here in position. One of these T-34's is weak. The Panther stops moving. He needs to keep kiting. If these T-34's get round to the side and or rear of the T-34, of the Panther, sorry, it will die. Wow. I think that was 4 penetrating hits in a row from the Soviet mediums, and now the Panther is super flustered. Gets pushed on out into a random area of the map, is on no health, basically, or 1 hit on that. These T-34's just marauding through the countryside here. devastating Axis infantry units, causing a pretty mass fallback in the west here. And I just think that this means that there's now no way that the Axis player... I mean, he picks off 2 of the T-34s there. Okay, picks off 1 here, gets another one, I don't know, somewhere. When there's 6 T-34s, you've got to forgive me for not capping the deaths on all of them. I guess maybe here one of them died? I'm not sure. But anyway. So, okay, he's going to repair the Panther. He didn't lose that. That's crucial. And he still has a lot of units. He just needs to grab a VP. If he can grab a VP, he may have the time to grab a second. Like, he just needs to grab a VP. Wow, is this a rapid conscription going to get used here by Snowbear? Seems like an interesting choice when you're floating like this much manpower and didn't have that much munitions, but you know, okay. Panther going to come on in here. Looks like it's at about 55-60% health. Going to get some nice shots here. Does have its first star of veterancy, actually well on its way to that second star. And okay, I think this is Valiant Assault gets used here. So all of this Axis infantry, stimmed AF, really feeling it right now. And going to come on in. Starts decapping mid. Starts decapping west. So maybe there's a chance here. Valiant Assault, meaning that he's actually taking a lot of these fights, even against units in cover. Is this an MG34 in a building though? Needs to get a grenade, a bundle grenade off of these. Oh, he doesn't have the Muni actually. A bundle grenade would be prime. With that MG here, I don't think he can take mid. I just don't think he can do it. The Panther has its engine broken. It's down on like not a lot of health. He's down on 13 tickets. He's gonna grab west. By the skin of his teeth, he is gonna grab west here. But it's actually not enough, is it? Oh my god, he decaps mid, so he's actually not dead. How did he manage that? Were those Fallschirmjägers actually winning against the... I suppose they are 4-star. They were actually winning against this guy in cover. That's kind of epic. Alright, that is kind of epic. I gotta give it to those Fallschirmjäger. That was pretty cool. Oh god, and because they're OKW units and they have 3 stars or more of vet, they're just gonna start healing themselves as well. Okay, so, alright. This just in, Captain Vernon Roche, not dead, stabilizes on 10 VPs under 333. Now all he has to do is weather the storm. Is this doable? I mean, the Soviet mediums all need repairing, so he's probably okay for a little while. Frangie Smoke going to come down here. Beautiful Frangie Smoke. Going to slow these conscripts right down. Going to let these Fallschirmjäger reposition. The Panther going to come forward here. Going to try and grab itself a bit more veterans. So, oh, the Fallschirmjäger's getting cut down. 3-star vet conscripts with the PPSH upgrade. Actually doing really ferocious damage up close. The Panther here takes a hit from a T-34, takes an AT grenade. The engine's still not broken. 2 stars of vet mean that the armored skirt's now coming down on that unit, which makes it a ton more survivable. Meanwhile, in west, looks like Snowbear actually making a move here, and he's going to make it stick. He decaps mid. Vernon Roche down on 8-7 VPs, and you have to think that's game. I mean, he's actually got a squad of Fallschirmjägers capping over here, but that has to be game, right? That literally is game. Surely. He's on 5, 3... And the Soviet player is going to grab mid, so that's game. A very well-played game between these 2 players. The second Panther actually on the queue and everything, but it's not going to be here in time, and that is GG. A very valiantly played game. Is there a pun going there with Valiant Assault? You know, I shouldn't have mentioned it. A very valiantly played game there by Vernon Roche. Basically felt like he was slightly behind the whole game. And despite losing his Panzer IV, though, was able to nearly come back and stabilize. Snowbear going for the conscript support tactics here, going mass conscript into mass T-34, and proving the effectiveness of that unit composition, despite my criticisms of not mixing in a Katusha or an Su-85. I gotta be honest, despite him winning in this game, I still think it's valid that he should have mixed in an Su-85 at least. It just would have made it much easier to keep at bay this Panther. It just would have negated a lot of the value of this unit. And to be fair, you know, this Panther made it up to 2-star vet, picked off a few Soviet mediums, killed 3 of them, and could have, if things had gone only slightly differently, gone on to help Vernon Roche stabilize. So I think if I was Snowbear, I would have just liked to have closed the door on that possibility entirely by mixing in an Su-85. So yeah, but apart from that, nice to see conscript support tactics get used. Nice to see them actually, you know, kicking ass and taking names out on the ladder and taking a sweet win. Nearly saw all of these abilities used. I think the only thing I didn't actually immediately see used was hit the dirt, probably. But yeah, getting definitely a lot of value out of that commander. For Vernon Roche, I think an earlier MG34 team getting set up to garrison mid, or definitely in this building, because Vernon Roche suffered so much in the early game with trying to defend this cutoff point. It was like consistently disconnected for like the first 10 or 15 minutes of the game, it felt like. And an MG34 in this building would have enabled him to cover this point and also just keep back the Soviet conscript waves. I think if you recognize that your opponent is like all in on conscripts and apparently hasn't bought a support weapon Campanile in the early game, I think an MG34 is a pretty strong choice, because what do they really have to answer that with, you know? Like, not much. So I think I like a much earlier MG34 would have been pretty sweet here from Vernon Roche. By the time he bought one in, you know, his opponent already had like T-34s and mortars, so a lot of the value of that MG34 that he did get was ameliorated, and that piece of hardware eventually fell into Soviet hands and, you know, was used against him. So, yeah, earlier MG34 might have made a difference to the early game, and you know, might have changed how this game looked as the players moved on into the sort of mid and late game. But yeah, cool, what a great game. 325-0, good win by Snowbear, and yeah, I'd very much look forward to casting either of these players again. I thought they acquitted themselves well there. I mean, not super top level play, you know, not the highest of the high, fair to say a couple of mistakes out of both players, but definitely some high level play, and definitely very entertaining to watch. So yeah, I guess that concludes this video. Thank you very much for watching, and this for now is Magpie842 signing out.